Guess what time it is? It's time to do art with Miss Orr. Yay!
Hello everyone and welcome back to Art with Miss Orr. I'm so excited to create this artwork. We are going to be looking at the Great Barrier Reef again today, but we're looking at a certain animal that is super cute, has a hard shell and scaly skin. Do you know what this animal could be? Look how beautiful the Great Barrier Reef is. It's home to so many species and different types of animals and corals. I can see the animal that we're creating today in this picture. Can you see it? That's right. We are going to be creating a sea turtle. Did you know the Great Barrier Reef is home to 6 of the world's 7 sea turtle species? How cool is that? Okay, should we go create an amazing artwork? Let's go. Alright, so you're going to need a piece of paper today. I've got my piece of paper landscape. Remember, you can use any materials, but I'll be using some oil pastels, some water and a paintbrush because I'm also going to be using paint. The colours today I'm going to be using is some dark blue and white, and I'm going to mix them together to make light blue. Some textures as well I'll be using. And I've also got my Sharpie and my fine art liner pen, and I'll be using them as well. Remember, it's awesome if you have a lead pencil at home to do your drawing with. I'll be using my fine art liner just so you guys can see it on the piece of paper. Okay, we're going to get started. I'm so excited because I think this is going to be one of the best artworks yet. We are going to create a teardrop look. So just imagine a teardrop or a raindrop, and we're going to create that shape on the piece of paper. It doesn't have to be perfect, just have a go. So now I'm going to retrace this teardrop raindrop shape that I have created again and create a border going all the way around back to the point. Now this is going to be the edge of the shell, so what's supporting the shell on the outside. Great work, guys. So now I'm going to do 2 curved lines, and this is his neck, and I'm obviously going to attach his head on the end. And as you can see, I haven't done a perfectly round head. It's kind of got a little point to it like a turtle does. Time for his little flippers. So I'm going to be creating my flippers. Got 2 around the middle of the shell that stick outwards. And then I need to add 2 at the back of the shell, which are going to kind of point downwards. Your flippers don't need to look exactly the same as mine. Your turtle will look different to mine, and that's what makes it very special because our artworks are all unique. Once you've done that, we're going to start adding the detail in the middle of the shell. So I'm doing 2 lines outwards to kind of make half of a shape. There we go. And I'm going to do a line there. The detail inside your shell, you could do circles or you could do squares. It's totally up to you. I'm going for this type of look, and you guys can choose what you want to do for the inside of your shell to represent his hard, crusty shell. Now I'm finished doing his shell. I'm now going to add some lines on that outwards border that we created. So I'm just going to do some lines very carefully all around his shell. And that's just going to create like a border. Look how they shine for you and everything that you do. Once you finish doing your lines, it's time to add the detail on the neck and his flippers. So I'm going to start by doing these lines. I'm just doing continuous lines, edge to edge, kind of squiggly lines. You don't need to make them straight, but if you want to make them straight, that's also okay. Just going to go over them again to add some more depth and to make it a little bit darker. Now I'm going to be doing some shapes to represent the scales on his skin, because remember turtles do have scaly dry skin. So I'm going to do a oval shape with a point at the end like that, And I'm just going to keep filling in the gaps with different shapes that look similar. So again, you might want to do circles, or you might have a different shape you'd like to add for your details. That's totally fine. I'm just choosing to do this shape. Once you finish adding the detail to the head, you can then move to the flippers. So I'm going to be doing kind of like a squiggly square and squiggly rectangles for my fin detail. You can do the same. I feel like this looks really nice once coloured in and traced with texture. And it's quite easy to colour in as well, so it's not too much detail, but it's enough to make it look amazing. To make it stand out, I'm going to grab my black Sharpie and outline all the details I've just added on my turtle. I jumped across for you. Oh, what a thing to do. 'Cause you were all... Yay! I've finished outlining now, so it's time to move on to the shell. So we're going to be starting to add some patterns and some colours. I'll be using my fine art pen to add some lines. I'll be using textures to colour around the shell. And I also will be using some oil pastels to colour in different types of shell. Okay, so the first step, I'm going to grab my pen. You can use pencil or anything you've got at home, and I'm going to start adding some patterns inside. Not all of the parts of the shell, but only some of them, because some I'm going to colour in, so I'm going to do patterns just to change it up and make the shell really contrast. So here I'm going to do some lines. Beautiful. You could use love hearts, some stars, circles, zigzags, just normal lines. You could do some squares. Whatever you do, I'm sure it's going to look amazing. I'm so excited to see what patterns you're going to choose. Look how they shine for you. Look how they shine. Look at the stars. Look how they shine for you, and everything that you do. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my textures and I'm going to be colouring in the boxes that are around the shell. So I'm using warm colours because the background is going to be blue, so it's going to be cool colours. And I really want the turtle to stand out compared to the blue background. So I'm using some nice warm colours. Some colours you could use are red, orange, yellow, some gold, just anything that reminds you of warmth or the sun or tropical weather. So I'm just going to be colouring every third box in with texture, and then I'm going to go back around with the other colours. So then I took my turn. Oh, what a thing to have done. It was all yellow. For the next step, I'm going to start colouring in his fins and flippers, and I'm going to be doing this by outlining the little shapes that I've made and then colouring it in with pencil. Now for the next step, we're going to be doing the background, which is so exciting. So obviously our turtle is swimming in water. I'm going to be using paint, but if you don't have paint, you could use crayon or pencil. So I'm going to start off by grabbing quite a little bit of white paint, and I'm going to be painting it in a curved formation. So that means we're going to be curving the line. So I don't want it to be a straight line, I want it to be curved. Just imagine you were pretending the sun was shining in and how that would affect what the water looks like. So if the sun was shining in, it would be lighter on the top of the water and get darker as we go down. So deep down in the ocean, as you would know, is pretty dark. You can't really see anything, but at the top of the ocean where we go swimming at the beach or in lakes, it's usually quite light. So I'm going to grab a tiny bit of blue now and I'm going to add this to my white. And as you can see, it's going to create a beautiful light blue. I'm going to keep blending this together so it creates a really pastel blue by the top of it, and it's just going to gradually turn into a darker blue the further we go down. And if you are using paint at home, a little tip is to add a tiny bit of water to allow your paint to smooth out. So it will be able to blend a lot easier if you add a tiny bit of water. Don't use too much because it will become too watery and your paper might rip, but I find that's a really good tip on how to blend your colours nicely together when using acrylic paint. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep adding some blue. I might add some white if I need to make it lighter. And I'm going to keep doing this until I get to the other corner, which will be dark blue.
Look at the stars, look how they shine for you, and everything you do. Yeah, they were all yellow. I came along, I wrote a song for you. Oh, what a thing to do. And it was called...
Awesome, so now my background's finished. I'm now going to grab the end of my paintbrush and dip it into the white paint. Now you want more than less for this part of the activity because you need to have enough on there to create some dots for the background. So we're going to follow the curved lines that we've created with our paint and we're going to do some dots. There we go. So these dots are going to be in a curved line all the way down to the end of our piece of paper, to the other corner.
Turn into something beautiful. You know I love you so.
Alright, and here we have it, our finished sea turtle. I hope you enjoyed this activity. Thank you for joining me. Keep shining and smiling, Year 1 and Year 2. You guys are amazing and we are so proud to be your teachers. See you next time.